after what we witnessed last night, how do you view Haliburton?
A closer. I think one of the most clutch players we've seen in the postseason era. I mean, it's been spectacular to watch. I'm not going to lie. He was getting thoroughly outplayed for more than 3.5 quarters. He appeared to be a no-show. We were looking at him wondering what the hell was going on. And then this brother showed up when it really, really counted. That game-winning shot with 0.3 seconds left. You can't say enough about the clutch genes, that he has the ice in his veins, the ability to perform under pressure. He deserves all the credit in the world for that. There's a lot more to get into as it pertains to this outcome of this game, but I'm not taking anything away from the brother. We've had a conversation. I can't stand the fact that we had a conversation about superstar, not superstar, because one of the things that I emphasized repeatedly, regardless of the fact that I disagree with the superstar status, he is a young rising star in this game. This is not a scrub. This is not somebody that's overrated. This is not somebody that's discrediting the game with his talent and his gifts. This brother can play. He can play, and you certainly want the ball in his hands with money on the line, because he has shown you time and time again that he can deliver. Guys, we're looking at a situation in the postseason. In the last 15 minutes, last 15 seconds, with the game on the line to tie the score or take a lead in regulation or overtime in the postseason, Haliburton is 5 for 5, 4 for 4 of these players over the last 4 games, 5 for 5 overall. Y'all, the rest of the league is 4 of 26 in this postseason. He's 5 for 5. He is the #1 clutch player this postseason. Nobody on earth thought that we'd be able to say that about him, but we've had to say about him. Can't do anything but stand down and give love to the brother, because that was a special moment right there. And it was a special performance by Indiana in the last 9 minutes of the game, which we'll get into later.
We certainly have a series, Marcus.
Definitely was. And I say, what's going on, man? I was looking forward to your intro.
What's up, boss?
You know, you get us going. I was looking forward to the intro. I'm kind of mad that you wasn't on that early.
I know.
Two things I got to say
It's a little
to
technical
you right
difficulty, but I'm here for you, baby. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Yes,
and
sir.
by
Two
the way,
things
I
I
like
gotta
your
say.
wardrobe. It looks smooth.
Appreciate
It looks cool, but I don't know about the sneakers. We're gonna talk about that later. But go ahead. I saw the sneakers on Get Up early this morning. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about wardrobe later, because I got a few things to say to you too. Go ahead,
Two
Mark.
things. Why? I just don't understand is you still haven't used that word superstar when we're talking about Haliburton. Like, I'm still confused at why you're not giving him that nudge. Secondly, yes, this team is not predicated on him scoring 30 points. Like, he doesn't have to score 30 points to have a good game. He had 10 rebounds. He was controlling the game. He made sure in the second half that they didn't turn the ball over. The first half, it was 20 turnovers. To the second half, he calmed the team down. He got them poised. He even took a step back and let other guys be able to take part in that game. And that's why I take my hat off to him, because he understands the game. It's not all about scoring. It's about control. It's about pace. It's about giving your teammates confidence. And that's what I love about him. And at the end of the game, we knew who the ball was going to be in what player hands, right? He came right to the ball, paceful, got to his spot, and was able to raise. Mr. Make, win or lose, the Pacers did a really good job of exploiting certain opportunities that we haven't seen other teams exploit in this playoffs. If we go back to the last series when we talked about Minnesota had 2 players on that court that were kind of Achilles heel, right? Mike Conley was a really good player, but they was forcing people to go at him, right? So he played him off the court. Then you talk about Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert doesn't score the ball. He doesn't shoot the ball. He barely posts up. Now you go to a team like Indiana where every player on the team can do something. Every big on the team can shoot the ball. It poses problems. They move, they cut, they screen, right? Like, it gets players a little bit thrown off because we're so used to seeing OKC load to the ball and be in the passing lane. So my thing was, I wanted to see how that Indiana would be able to exploit that defense. And quite frankly, I still think that they going to win the series.
Keith?
Yeah, like you said, man. It is extremely hard to guard a team that every single player that played the minute scored a point. Every single player that played in that game except for Ben Mathurin hit a three-pointer. It is impossible to guard a team like that. And Haliburton, let's check his stats. He was a plus 13 yesterday. And he's not your typical superstar, because Marcus said, you know, Stephen A., you called him a clutch player. He wasn't getting played off the court. He just was filling the game out. Let's take it back. This is a game 1. Same way they did against the Knicks, down 15 in the fourth quarter. He did the exact same thing. A superstar player, normally what you want to see is a guy shooting 30 shots, scoring 30 points. the SGA type of guy, but this guy's a superstar player that does everything. He had 10 rebounds, 6 assists, plus 13 on the court. So every time when he was in the game, they were winning those games. Other than being in the first half when they had 20 turnovers, he brought the team together. They brought the team together, and they was able to do the exact same thing they did the Knicks in that series, was win a game being down 15 late in the game.
S.A.?
Well, listen, here's the deal, y'all. Let me try to explain. I'm going to try to explain this one more time because, I mean, the twins, and you ain't listening to me enough, okay? Here's the deal, fellas, all right?
We ain't listening, but we
Haliburton, you got 5 for 5 in the last 15 seconds. This is what they say here. 4 for 4, 5 for 5 on shots within the final 15 seconds of regulation or overtime this postseason with the chance to tie the game or take the lead, while the rest of the NBA is 4 of 26 on such shots this postseason, all right? Shots this postseason within the last 5 seconds of regulation or overtime with the chance to tie the game or take the lead. Haliburton is 4 for 4. The rest of the league is 3 for 16. We know what he is doing. We know what he's doing in clutch moments. I'm saying to y'all, I watched the entire 48 minutes. I'm certainly not implying that y'all don't, but I'm just saying that when I judge and I think about a superstar, I'm thinking about the number one option on a night-in, night-out basis that's having to carry a certain load that others don't normally carry. When you think about a KD, when you think about a LeBron, when you think about a Steph Curry, the obligations that fall on their shoulders and the night-in, night-out level of production that they exhibit comes into play.
Like, take me through it as a player, as a team, when you're down in that kind of moment with the stakes this high, to still believe and still get the job done.
I mean, in the playoffs on the road, it's nearly impossible. So they're defeating the odds anyway. But they've done it in the Garden, in the Mecca. They've done it on a bigger stage. I mean, OKC, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of fans. They have a hard place to play at home. But in the Garden, they've done this already over and over and over. In home, in Cleveland. They've done this thing over and over, so it's not nothing new to them.
I'll do y'all a favor. I'll give Haliburton some love on this level, just to remind everybody why this conversation is valid when it comes to him. This postseason alone, he sent home Giannis Antetokounmpo. He sent home Donovan Mitchell. He sent home Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And last night, even though Shea Butter was that dude, he closed against Shea Butter. And they up 1-0 in this series. And all of us are incredibly thankful from a television perspective, covering the NBA Finals. The odds stacked so heavily against Indiana that you were praying that OKC didn't win Game 1 by convincing fashion, because you knew the audience would just lose all hope that this was going to be a series. And because of what Haliburton did, because of what Indiana did, we now have ourselves a series. We look
Stephen,
at Indiana and we
question?
think beyond Marcus, and we know they can win this series.
So is that your answer to the question, that Haliburton's the biggest reason for the Pacers' comeback?
No. That wasn't my answer. He's not the biggest reason for their comeback last night.
Well, that was the question. That's what
they
we're
was asking
about.
me about the superstar, so I was just giving them some love. That's all. That's all, Mom.
No. Okay, you want to answer that question, though? What would you say is the biggest reason for their comeback?
Well, listen. The biggest reason for their comeback, first of all, they stopped turning the damn ball over. How about that? Let's start there.
True.
19 turnovers in the first half. They looked like an AAU squad. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it was scary how bad they looked in the first half, where they weren't getting any shots. Indiana ended up shooting the basketball 16 times less than Oklahoma City. But when you look at what transpired, it was a collective effort. I brought up Turner, I brought up Nesmith, I brought up Nembhard especially. I thought he was a key in their comeback. He made some big shots, and he was doing it off the dribble, creating on his own. It wasn't just being set up by Haliburton. And I got to give Obi Toppin some love, because this brother dropped 5 threes. I mean, he was keeping them in the game. Every time that OKC was making a run and looking like they were about to blow him out of the building, Obi Toppin would answer with a 3. DJ McConnell came into the game in the first half. He hit a couple of 3s. You talk about a total team effort. The biggest reason for me, if I had to pick one person, it would be Rick Carlisle. Because Rick Carlisle, the coach, as OKC was running away, they were like, calm down, just protect the basketball, be poised. He had a timeout where he's reminding them, yo, you can't throw bounce passes to a 7-footer at his feet. You can't throw passes in traffic against these cats. You got to go about the business of protecting the basketball. When we played them earlier this year, we only had 11 turnovers in one game. This is what y'all got to remember. So he was reminding them of that, right? But then we also got to give Rick Carlisle credit because, again, as I pointed out, 11 different players playing 15 minutes or more per game this regular season for the Indiana Pacers. We got to look at that because that's why you had the confidence to throw them out there in game 1 of the NBA Finals the way that you did. You got cats coming off the bench. Mathurin didn't do much offensively last night, but this is the same Mathurin that had 20 points on 12 shots against the New York Knicks, if I remember correctly, whether it was a game 5 or 7. I'm sorry, game 5 or 6. That's what happens. You got these guys that you wouldn't expect much from, but you can expect it from Indiana because they were prepared for this moment by a champion that is Coach Rick Carlisle.
Marcus, where are you on this? Biggest reason for the comeback?
I got to agree with it, but I'm going to just point out one player that I felt as though, like, was the catalyst for the comeback, and that's Aaron Nembhard. Like, Nembhard, like he just got so much confidence towards the end of the game, and he did the step back three-pointer where we don't normally see that from him, right? And the part about when I keep going back to Haliburton is Haliburton gave him the floor. Go ahead, young fella. If you got it and you feel like you can do it, go ahead. He got an and one layup against Caruso that was big to kind of start it, right? And his defense against Shea down the stretch. Me and you both pointed out this when we was watching the game. Nembhard bumped Shea bumped him back, right? And he took it like upon himself to walk around the entire floor, but make sure he got his lick back. And mentally, it might not seem like much, but we've been talking about how we haven't seen that yet against the Thunder. No one's pushing him. No one's going at him. And Nembhard is from Canada. So this is his brother. They played on the Canadian team together, and he might know a couple things that can get under his skin. He took 30 shots. He took the last possession where he was like, no, I'm going to guard him straight up. Took him to a tough pull-up, and they gave him an opportunity to get Holland break that shot. But I think Nembhard was the catalyst in that fourth quarter to get that lead to go where it got to.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We did our job. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's get Come on, man.
You know we ain't
get greedy,
well.
man. Yeah, man. Come on, we got so much to work on.
We ain't even play well.
So much to work on.
Come on.
I love that Pascal said we didn't even play well. Like, you just see how confident they are. Stephen A., with that being said, do you feel like the Pacers are in control of this series now that they took game 1?
I wouldn't say in control. You still got game 2. We've seen Oklahoma City respond after a loss against Denver, against Minnesota. We know what they're capable of, but the bottom line is they've made this a series. They put the world on notice that they can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, that in order for the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this series and capture a championship for the first time in Sam Presti's career since he's been here as the executive since 2007 and still hasn't had a damn championship yet. If they're going to win their first championship with this man, guess what? They're going to have to take it from the Indiana Pacers because Indiana's not going to give it to you. They may have made mistakes, but to commit 24 turnovers to the game, to commit 19 in the first half, you know what? You show something about your character. When you commit 19 turnovers in the first game, you look like you're scared to handle the ball. Haliburton admitted he was jittery. They looked like deer in headlights, some of them, and yet the last 18 minutes of the game, they committed a grand total of 3 turnovers. That's impressive, especially against this defense. I'm not going to tell you that the Pacers are in control of this series. I'm going to say that they put Oklahoma City on high alert. And oh, by the way, one of my colleagues just pointed this out to me, my man Vince, and he was absolutely right. You know, when you think about Dagno, what the hell are you doing changing your lineup before the finals even begins? Why would you let Rick Carlisle and them coax you into changing your formula? You won 68 games this year. You've been in the playoffs. You like 80-18 this year. And before a game is played in the NBA Finals, you're going to go out there and change your starting lineup because the Indiana Pacers and Rick Carlisle are coming into the time? I mean, that's getting mind screwed right there. And I think that was a worthy point that my man reminded me to bring up because that's a problem with OKC. They should not have done that.
I actually spoke on that earlier. Like that really doesn't make like a lot of sense to me. Like you don't even see how the game is being played. You know, that's a game 2 adjustment, game 3 adjustment if you need to change the lineup to match how they're playing. But like we say in the NBA world, Indiana did their job. They won a game in OKC that we didn't think they were going to win.
True.
Now they control home court advantage. I mean, obviously for them, home court advantage hasn't been the big thing for them in the playoffs because they've been good on the road. But now they've done their job. They got one in OKC. Now they can control the advantage. Now they might be able to pull a number 2 off. They could pull a second one off, man. We be looking at
tough.
it's going to be tough for OKC to come back and win this one.
I got 2 points that, why I say they are in control. 20 turnovers in the first half, and you're only up 11. Like, that's unprecedented from OKC. When they turn people over, they blow them out.
They blow them out.
Like blow them out to where it's not a game.
Because they score off the turnovers.
in this game. They stayed in this game, right? That's number 1. And number 2, small ball will not work in this series. You're actually going to play in Indiana's hand because you went small ball and Siakam was able to get an offensive rebound down the stretch because these dudes are playing physical. Right. So small ball is out if I'm looking at OKC. And now it's going to be interesting to see how they actually be able to adjust on that. Like now, can Hartenstein stay on the court? Can Chet stay on the court? He's your 3rd best player. Can he play in this series? Because they will put him through the trenches, they will screen him every play, and it's going to be difficult for him to actually catch up. So it'll be interesting to see. But if you had to ask me, I would say the Pacers are definitely in control of this right now.
SA, final word?
Well, the reason why I say no, because let's say, for example, OKC wins game 2, right, Marcus?
Yep.
They win game 2. Then you're the Indiana Pacers. The priority shifts to you having to protect your home court. And it's a question mark coming into there because you lost game 2. That's all I mean by that. It's almost at times I feel like if you're the road team, you're almost better. Of course, you get one any way you can get it. But you're almost better off winning game 2 as opposed to game 1 because you lose game 1, you win game 2, and then you go back to your house with a win instead of an L. There's a little extra momentum that you have in your favor because you won that game 2. If OKC comes back and handles their business in game 2 and they make sure they secure that victory, particularly in convincing fashion, then all of a sudden we get back here and we say, all right, Indiana, it's not just game 3, but it's game 4. Can you handle your business on your home court, or are these brothers going to take one from you and reclaim home court advantage? That's the only reason why I say they're not in control yet. The operative word there is control. I wouldn't say control. They've got momentum. They've made this a series. They've got all of us recognizing they can win this series, but control, nah, not if you lose game 2.
I'll tell
you don't have
they
control
feel like
yet.
they're in
They feel
control.
like
You
they're
heard
in control.
them. You heard them.
You
We
didn't
didn't even
play
Of course
play
they
well.
should, and they should.